and I'm happy to be joined by a number of individuals. Morgan's a veteran here.
A few times.
How you doing?
I'm great.
Good. What did you do to your voice?
I know, I cheered a lot, and, there was so much going on with just coordinating the event.
Okay.
So not only am I talking and directing people around all weekend, I'm also cheering on the Joes, and I'm
Oh, my
also
goodness.
crying a lot because of how
Aw.
just absolutely, proud I am with these kids. So it was a lot, and I probably wasn't as hydrated as I should be. So I'm still working on that. So I've got cough drops.
Okay, good. All right, good. Take care of that voice. Rest it.
Yep.
You can let them do the talking however you want.
Absolutely.
All right, Arthov, right?
Sir.
Arthov Saxena.
A third.
A third.
Yep.
A third. Thank you. A third Saxena, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is the robotics coordinator and, the operator on the drive team, the programmer, and the impact presenter. Elizabeth Fisbeck is the impact lead, and then her brother Hank Fisbeck is the driver for the Average Joes and the build co-lead. So we have everyone in studio. You had a big competition last week, and you come in first? How did that you say that so nonchalantly?
I'm still impressed.
That's awesome.
This last competition, we had probably the best possible run, almost the best possible run that a robotics team could have at a district competition.
How tell us more.
So 4 big things happened.
Okay.
We won the whole competition. So by the end of the competition, we won. We took home the trophy and the banner. We won the Impact Award, which is called the most prestigious award in FIRST Robotics.
Okay.
We sent a student to compete at state.
Make friends with that microphone. Sorry about that.
We sent a student to states to compete for the Dean's List Award there and go on to Worlds.
Okay.
And we sent a mentor for the Woody Flowers Award to states as well. So that's basically our big 4. And
Wow.
it's pretty much the best possible run we could have asked for.
Congratulations. That's fantastic. What do you credit the big wins to?
Well, I think this year we have a very coordinated team. We all work together really well. I think we have a very young team, but because of the middle school and elementary school programs we've been implementing, everybody has been doing robotics for years, and so everybody understands how important everything is, and everybody understands how to work in a competition setting.
So the robot performed as expected. Team members performed their roles as expected.
Yes. And it was a huge turnaround from last year, where last year our robot did not perform as expected. We had robot breaks on the field, and between our first and second competitions, we had to rebuild a massive part of our robot.
Wow.
So this year it was very refreshing to have a robot that works.
That's awesome. All right, we're gonna explore all of that. We're gonna talk about last year. We'll talk about this year. We'll talk about what's next, and understand each of your roles on the team for the Average Joes. Why do you call it yourselves Average Joes?
Well, it's from the movie.
Which movie?
Dodgeball.
Oh, that one.
Yes.
Okay, I like that movie.
They picked it way back in the day.
I haven't seen it in a long time.
But it's also...
Have you seen the movie? Sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
it's just all the kids do it.
Okay.
So it came from the movie, but we're from St. Joseph.
Okay.
So we just kind of call ourselves the Joes, and all of our programs are, so it's pretty great.
That's fantastic. We'll talk about it on Robotics Roundup. It's brought to you by Lake Michigan College, by Cook Nuclear Power Plant, and Berrien Springs Public Schools. We'll be visiting with these fine young individuals in just a moment, right here on the WSJM Morning Show. We'll get some news in from our local WSJM newsroom, weather forecast, and more. That's coming up. .05, good morning, and welcome back to the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. So happy to have you here on a Thursday. Aren't Thursdays like the best day of the week? I love Thursdays. They're my favorite day of the week. Yeah,
Friday Eve.
Right? It's Friday Eve.
Yeah.
Yeah, nowhere to go but downhill from here. Downhill? Uphill? Anyway, not sure. We do have the Robotics Roundup that's going to be happening in just a moment. We have the championship team. Can I call you that? The championship team from Average Joe's.
That's
They're
fitting.
from St. Joseph High School. They're very modest as well. No, they did fantastic. They did fantastic at last weekend's competition, and there were 40 teams from all over the state competing there. So we'll be talking about that and how they did it and their big comeback story from last year. We'll talk about that in just a moment right here on WSJM. First, we've got to get some weather and some news out of the way. The temperature outside right now in Benton Harbor, it's 33 degrees. Same in St. Joseph and South Haven, 32, Dowagiac, 32, 33 in New Buffalo. It is what it is. The feels like is exactly that. So what you see is what you get. We've got clear skies out there right now. It's going to be a great evening, let's hope, for seeing the blood moon in less than 24 hours. That big full moon with the lunar eclipse is going to be happening starting around 11:57 tonight, and then it'll go till approximately 3 or 4 tomorrow morning. So more details on that to come. Today's forecast does call for mostly sunny skies, high around 65 degrees, east winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight's forecast mostly clear, a low around 47. Friday, tomorrow, that's a weather change day. We've got partly cloudy skies, breezy conditions, and a high of 73 degrees. Beautiful conditions. However, as we get late on in the day, there's going to be an 80% chance of storms happening overnight. South winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. Gusts even higher, maybe up to 30 miles per hour. We'll keep you tuned in on whether that forecast gets any more severe as far as what the winds or the storms that might be coming through. Again, that's happening tomorrow night, Friday night. Saturday's forecast, mostly cloudy, a 60% chance of rain showers, windy, high around 68 and a low around 58. Sunday's forecast, partly sunny, chance of rain or snow showers on Sunday, breezy conditions, a low of 34 and a high around 40 degrees. Some of the news that we're following from the WSJM newsroom: could a version of Elon Musk's Doge be coming to Berrien County? That's the plan from the Berrien County GOP. In February, leaders circulated a new leadership structure for the party that includes a government accountability team that has within it a Doge leader. Darren Fife is listed as the Berrien Doge leader. Asked for more detail, the Berrien County GOP would only say that the GOP is looking forward to their locally elected Republican officials following President Donald Trump's example by identifying and then cutting waste, fraud, and abuse. The party's chair, Sean Hill, addressed the Berrien County Board of Commissioners with this very idea last week.
I think as a whole, when we've seen all this stuff coming out in the Doge for the federal government, I think it's something that Berrien County needs to actually consider too. I think there's a lot of money out there being spent on crazy things. That's why we're having to get the 8% increase in our taxes for our property.
We asked Berrien County Administrator Brian Dissett yesterday if there's been any discussion among commissioners about a Doge-like office effort locally. He said no, but there's always tomorrow. Commissioners could be hearing more as soon as today. We have a full statement from the Berrien County GOP at our website, WSJM.com. The Buchanan-based Michigan Gateway Community Foundation has awarded more than $145,000 to various community needs in South Berrien and Cass counties. The foundation's CEO, Michael Rowland, tells us the money was distributed to 17 different organizations. Grants ranged from just over $1,000 for the Buchanan Community Schools to get fitness equipment to $24,000 given to the city of Niles for home repairs for low-income and senior-owned homes.
We look at those all through the lens of kind of the three buckets that we look to support, which are education, healthcare, and culture. And every community has different needs in those three buckets. And depending on what type of funds we have in every individual area, that's kind of how we'll look at those opportunities. But in each cycle, we try to fill those three buckets as much as possible.
The organization says in making the grants, the Community Foundation attempts to understand the specific objectives of each grant request and the long-term benefits that the community will receive from each initiative.
It means a ton. We have a mission of fostering a community of philanthropy for good forever, and how we do that is we foster relationships with the nonprofit communities and help them deliver on their missions. And that's what really these grants represent, is all their hard work.
The Michigan Gateway Community Foundation traces its roots back to 1977 and has since evolved into what they say is a full-service foundation serving southern Berrien County, focused on Niles, Buchanan, and Cass County. And the Lincoln Township Board of Trustees has approved a resolution stating its support for a new trail along Hickory Creek. Speaking at Tuesday's meeting, Township Supervisor Glenn Youngstead said he's been meeting with residents and outside groups that are interested in having a trail that runs all the way from the township and into St. Joseph. He told us he's gained a lot of support.
I know a number of people along Hickory Creek that would really like to see it. I know when I was pre-primary, was knocking on doors, several people brought this up, and as a matter of fact, there were people that said they would love to be able to bike from Stevensville all the way into St. Joe.
Among those, Youngstead has been meeting with our St. Joseph Township, the City of St. Joseph, the Village of Stevensville, MDOT, and Surratt Nature Center. Hickory Creek has been identified as a good route because the terrain is relatively flat. Youngstead said although the idea has been kicked around for years, he'd like to get a study group together to take another look. Trustee Mark Florian warned that this concept has always run into problems with area residents concerned about their property and how it might be used as part of the trail. The board did approve a resolution stating its support for the idea without committing any funding. Youngstead says he'll continue talking with partners. That's a look at some of the news that we have in the WSJM newsroom this morning. We have our robotics roundtable. In fact, let's get that started right now, and then we'll get into sports. So let's do a quick introduction of everyone around the table right now. We'll start with Morgan, who is Morgan Brunsting, who is the robotics coordinator and coach. Please just tell us a little bit about your role with the Average Joe's robotics team.
So as coach and robotics coordinator, I'm just kind of making sure everything that has to happen happens.
Yeah.
I swipe the credit card a lot, and I make sure that it's
You're
a fun,
the money.
I am the money. I also have to tell people no in big purchases sometimes. But, I'm helping manage the administrative aspect. I'm making sure that what needs to happen happens. I'm collecting permission slips. I'm coordinating hotels and rides and food, and it's all the admin things that goes along to making sure that these kids can perform. And then it's also supporting them from a coaching perspective. So whatever they're doing, whatever they're working on, helping them think through their problems. And most of the time, they're doing things way above my head. But, I've learned to ask the right questions to make sure that I'm guiding them in the correct direction, helping them think about what they're doing in maybe a different light or a different perspective.
How long have you been involved in the robotics program?
I think this is my 14th year.
Wow.
I didn't count before I got in here. I should have. I was on the team as a freshman in the 2012-2013 season.
Okay.
I did it all 4 years in high school. And then in college, I started helping, from remote, kind of more with the admin things. And then after I graduated college, not soon after, I stepped into the business coach role. The year after, I stepped into the robotics coordinator role as a part-time job. So I really, I love the program and I want to give back to it. I want to help the kids have the same experience I had, but they're having an amazing experience because, we keep getting better and they're keeping up with the high expectations, which is absolutely phenomenal. Every year, there's a little bit more that they need to do.
Yeah, we'll talk about those expectations and what they needed to do this year. Let's go around the table. Please introduce yourself and give your role on the team.
So hello, I'm Atharv Saxena, and I've been a programmer on the team, and this year I am the operator on the drive team as well, along with being an impact presenter, for which we won the Impact Award at this last
That's awesome. Congratulations. What is the Impact Award?
So the Impact Award is called the most prestigious award in FIRST, and it is being more than robots. So more than just sending a cool machine out on the field and winning that competition. It's about impacting the community and impacting the world and making the world a better place, introducing people to the world of science and technology and the world of FIRST.
How did you win that? Let's hear from our next person, Elizabeth. Go ahead and introduce yourself, give your role, and tell us about Impact.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth, and I'm the Impact lead. So I've been working with the Impact team all 4 years of my high school experience. And I orchestrate all our outreach events, or the majority of them. And I help write our essay, the micro essays we have to submit. I present, I help with our video. There are a lot of steps into applying for this award. And we were able to win it this year. We won it last year as well. So back to back is super exciting and not a common thing to do. So we're beyond excited about that. And I think part of what helps is that our impact team, beyond our whole team, is super connected with each other. We all love working together. We're excited to work together. And when you have a team that wants to work together and we want to make people's lives better and we want them to be able to access FIRST Robotics and STEAM in general, you are able to impact those people that you are meeting along the way.
Yeah. How did you specifically impact people this year? What would you say your most powerful essay or contribution was?
So I would say that our biggest thing that we do is working with the community. So we worked with lots of local businesses this year. like the Little Things Play Cafe. We took our robot out there, met 56 different students and parents, and had a great time there, taking a bunch of experiments. And then we host expositions at our facility where we invite pretty much the whole community, show off our robots, show off a bunch of experiments there. We also regularly take our robot to the Barron County Youth Fair, host an exhibit there. And those are just some of the places where we show off our robots.
That's awesome.
Aside from that, we're working to improve the quality of life of members in our community. So something big we did this year was building and designing buzz gloves. In partnership with a local organization, the People with Parkinson's.
Oh, what are buzz gloves?
So buzz gloves are a therapy device. They use vibration therapy to calm the neuron firing, which is what causes Parkinson's symptoms. So they're gloves that you put on your hands like a regular glove, and then they vibrate and in a specific pattern on each different fingertip. And then that'll send signals through your body, and it's shown to really help people who have Parkinson's. We are working on having a person to test them this weekend. We have not had anyone test them yet. So we are really excited to be able to have someone test them. And I think this is one of the biggest things we've been able to do as a team, being able to support our community that has supported us for years, beyond just showing them STEM and that they can be in STEM and they can be a STEM leader, showing them that we want to help them and make sure they have the best life possible.
Wow. Now I see why you won the Impact Award. That's amazing. We're going to explore, if you want, if you would, let's explore the buzz gloves here in just a moment. I want to get around to Hank. Please introduce yourself and give your role on the team.
I'm Hank, and I'm the driver for our team. When you see the robot on the field, I'm the one driving it, making sure it's scoring all the game pieces and just having a great time out there. I'm also the build co-lead, so when we were actually building the robot in January and February, I'm one of the people who's in charge of the design process a little bit and then coordinating people to actually get the robot built.
That's outstanding. All right, we are going to talk with these talented young individuals who are our future. So thank you for being that and thinking about it so thoughtfully. We'll have that. It's part of Robotics Roundup. It's going to continue right here on WSJM on our video live stream. We'll continue it right now. We've got sports with Dave Wolf. That's happening right this instant on the radio. We'll be back on the video live stream here in a second on YouTube and Facebook. Just go to WSJM.com. All right, and continuing on the video live stream, what are you whispering about? What's going on over there?
I'm telling him to plug the expo, the
Joe
Expo that we have.
What is the expo?
So
Talk about it.
This event is going to be our 4th annual one, and we just picked our day last night. It is going to be May 31st.
What is it we're talking about? What is it?
It's called the Joe Expo, and it's an event we host at our Innovation Center. We invite other FRC, so high school teams, and middle school teams, FTC. We do mock matches. We have over 20 different science experiments. We have a bunch of different games and activities, and it is so much fun. Not only for the volunteers, we get to meet so many cool people, but our community gets to come in and really be a part of that STEAM work that we are trying to show. And being able to show young kids or older adults that they can be a part of our STEAM world as we're moving forward with the world, science and technology is becoming more prevalent. Yeah. They can be a part of it in ways they didn't even imagine.
It's at the Innovation Center, which is where we house all of our robotics facilities for St. Joseph Public Schools. And we actually have a ton of teams come in. We had 2 teams last night.
Yes, 2 teams last night.
We had 2 teams last night come in from local schools. So it's at the Innovation Center, which is the southeast end of St. Joseph High School on Lakeview Drive.
Yeah. So it's the impressive building because anytime I drive people by there, they say, what is that building? And I say, oh, well, that's where they do the science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, and they build robots. And now I know they build buzz gloves as well and a few other things. So it's incredible the investment the high school, the education has put into that program.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're also, I mean,
sometimes I just stop talking just for fun.
Another shameless plug. We're working on a second floor for it.
Oh, a second floor?
We've run out of space.
Oh, wow.
Because we have so many programs and we have we have a limited capacity and we have so many kids that we want to reach. So we'll keep plugging the expo. Come to the expo, and if you've got money burning a hole in your pocket and you want to help support a second floor, let me know.
Yeah.
I know where it can go.
What's the process for getting that second floor?
Well, currently we're waiting to get the PPDS, which I don't exactly remember what it stands for, but that's just to get the initial engineering drawings. We're going to kind of a la carte it, see what we can do, see how much it's going to cost, and then we're working on that aspect. we did apply for a grant through the St. Joseph Public Schools Foundation, who is by far our biggest and best sponsor that we have. So we're hoping that they fund that part, at least in partial, and then what we'll do is we'll start getting that money towards the whole of the second floor.
Wow. Was the building made to have a second floor?
Kind of. It was built in 2019, and then there are foundational posts in rooms to hold a second floor, but they were thinking, an extra 50 square feet. Yeah. I'm trying to cover the whole area. I need so much more space than just that extra little classroom space on top. I need a lot more to house all these kids who want to be part of the program.
That speaks well to the success of the program.
Oh, yeah.
That's fantastic. All right, Average Joes, we've got a couple of minutes here before we get back on the radio and start talking about your tremendous performance at the competition this last weekend. Who's been in the robotics program the longest? I feel like Elizabeth. So you're a senior.
I am a senior, yes.
And so what got you involved first in robotics?
So I started 10 years ago. I was in second grade.
Wow.
And my dad was coaching the FLL team, which when we used to do FLL, they would be, which is elementary school, they'd be at the separate elementary schools. Now they're all at our innovation center. But beforehand, they're at the elementary schools. And I just kind of sat there and watched because I technically wasn't old enough to be on the team. They made an exception and let me be on the team since I was there every day anyways and wanted to be a part of it. So I began then, and I just never looked back. I kept going through all the programs.
Yeah. What do you want to do when you graduate higher education?
I haven't decided where yet, but I am going to major in American Sign Language English Interpretation with a minor in special education. Oh. So while that doesn't seem directly robotics related, I have had many experiences within robotics where I've been able to use my sign language skills and meet different people, which has been really cool. And it's shown me that this is something I really want to do.
That's amazing. Oh,
and
thank you.
Not to brag about her, but she also coached our FLL Discover team, which is our young fives. So she managed literally everything from communicating to parents to running the meetings to writing the lesson plans. I was hands off. I'm going to miss her.
Wow. That's great. Elizabeth, thank you for sharing that. And Morgan and Athurv and Hank will be back on the radio here in just a moment if it's a Robotics Roundup. We've got that coming up, and we'll talk about your big victory this last weekend here on WSJM. Temperature outside right now in Benton Harbor, it's 33 degrees. Same in St. Joseph. South Haven is 32 degrees. It's Robotics Roundup. It's part of our WSJM morning show commitment to science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And it's made possible by the sponsorship of Lake Michigan College, Berrien Springs Public Schools, and the Cook Nuclear Power Plant. This morning, we're talking with the Average Joes, and they are anything but average. And last weekend, we talked about it here on the radio a couple of times, was the big St. Joseph District Robotics Competition, FIRST Robotics. And who wants to just reset the foundation of what is the game, as it were? What's the game that happened at last weekend? What's the game that's this year's competition?
So this year, the game is centered around PVC pipes. The main game element is called Coral. It's a foot-long, 3-inch PVC pipe, and you have to place it on these welded purple posts all around the field. The higher you place it, the more points you get. And then the other game element is like a big green dodgeball. It's called algae. Some of them start on the reef, and then some of them start on the floor. You have to put them in this hole in the wall called a processor or in a net up high, and the higher one is worth more points. And that's the main part of the game.
Yeah, and basically what you're talking about is taking a 135-pound robot that for the first, 10 seconds, it moves autonomously. So you program it so it can go around and do its tasks for the first 10 seconds. And then the rest of the time, you've got a driver, Hank in this case, who has to go around and manipulate these objects on this basketball court-sized arena to make it happen. When are we going to do the Destructo Robots competition? Can we do that? All right, no.
I hope we can do it soon. I mean, It would be so much fun.
And how did you do overall in the competition? There were 40 teams that traveled from all over Michigan to St. Joseph High School for this competition. How'd you guys do?
So the way the competition works on the robot side of things is first we have to qualify to some ranking position. So we ranked second before the elimination bracket. And right before the elimination, they run a snake draft. So,
snake draft, what is that?
So basically, the first position team gets to choose any other team at the competition to be on their alliance of 3 different teams. From there, we can decline or accept, but the number 1 team picked us, and we made a great alliance and went on to win the whole thing.
That's great. And so the number 1 team ranked was Stryker.
Yes.
Can somebody describe their robot? Because I saw it out there, and it seemed to be moving pretty efficiently.
Yeah. So Stryker, they run what's called a custom swerve drive. They've been developing it for many, many years.
Of course they have.
It allows them to be very, very fast and very smooth on the field.
Yeah.
I feel like that was what made them the best robot at that competition, was how smooth they were. Their robot picks up the coral very efficiently, scores it extremely quickly, and then it also is really great with algae, which very few teams are.
And so how did your robot perform in comparison?
So I think our robot was just a little bit behind Stryker, but I think we were still leagues ahead of all the rest of the teams. Stryker was just a little bit faster than us, but with the practice we're getting right now, I think we'll be set for our next competition.
Yeah, and so what is the coding, the operation that has to go into making your robot do the things that you want it to do? I mean, it's not simple because you've got to grab the PVC pipe. It's it's the size of your forearm, and you've got to move it across the floor and put it on this little post. How does that happen?
So we work with what I think is industry level Java, honestly, and we're learning tons of skills from that, we programmers. And one of the big things in this game is vision, because we need to know where we're at. Yeah. The pole is super small, and the PVC pipe is really small as well. There's a very small window of error to get the PVC pipe on the pole. So vision is a big aspect of this game, to be able to see the April tags on the field, which is basically like condensed QR codes.
Okay.
And by scanning those, we can find our distance from them and our relative position on the field. So we're making big steps there to use our 2 cameras this year on our robot to create an auto drive, hopefully, for this next competition. And so far, Hank has been doing a great job at aligning, but a camera will be way more efficient. So if we can get the camera to automatically drive us to the correct position and put on the coral, then we will be a very efficient robot.
And you're saying you're developing this for the next competition. Are you doing that when is your next competition?
It will be not this weekend, but the coming weekend, Saturday and Sunday.
Okay. Is that a state level?
Nope.
No, it's still another district?
2 districts, and then states if we qualify and worlds if we qualify. So this is our 2nd district, but we have already qualified for state because we won Impact.
Okay. All right. We're talking with Morgan Brunsting, Athurv Saxena, Elizabeth Fisbeck, and Hank Fisbeck. They are part of the Average Joe's robotics team here in St. Joseph. How many team members do you have?
We have about 30, somewhere between 26
That's
to 30.
That's a good turnout. Yeah. And just the one robot?
We have some practice robots this year, which is something we've never done before. We stripped everything off of last year's robot, left the chassis so that we programmers can do some work on it, on some camera work, some vision work, while the other robot, this year's competition robot's in the building phase.
Yeah.
But there's only one competition robot.
How long have you been coding in Java? Or just coding in general?
Something cool that we do is we use the same Java sort of system in our FTCR middle school programs. So I've been doing this since 6th grade. Yeah. So I've come up through the 3 years of middle school, and now I'm carrying on throughout high school.
That's amazing. Hank, how long have you been in robotics?
I've been in robotics since I was in about 2nd or 3rd grade. Similar to my older sister, I was hanging around the elementary school programs before I was old enough to join, but they made an exception for me. My dad was coaching the team at that point, and I've never looked back. I just loved robotics ever since.
It's good to know people. All right. We'll continue this conversation in just a moment right here on the WSJM Morning Show. It's the Robotics Roundup, brought to you by Lake Michigan College, Cook Nuclear Power Plant, and Berrien Springs Public Schools. We will we'll get our latest news from ABC. We'll have some financial news. We'll have sports and a whole lot more coming up next on WSJM. All right, good morning. It's 7:30. It's the WSJM Morning Show video live stream. How are we doing so far? Is this good?
Yeah.
Great.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. All right. One of the things that one of my friends who watches the show, Evan, said, it's hard to believe when we were their age, that's when we were trying to write basic code on an IBM PC computer. Great job, everyone.
That's no basic code.
It was, I mean, we were on BASIC. We were doing DOS, I mean, the disk operating system. In fact, my first computer, believe it or not, was just a keyboard. There was no disk drive. There was no memory unit whatsoever. So everything I programmed into it would go away when my parents got tired of seeing the computer screen on and they would unplug it. It would go away. So it was only the random access memory. All right, so we're talking with the Average Joe's robotics team. Elizabeth, we talked about your career path. Do you see robots in your path as well?
Absolutely.
Really?
I mean, when you've been a part of something for almost your entire life, it's hard to give that up. One of my goals is actually to start a robotics team for deaf and hard of hearing children. I would love to be able to make a team where we communicate in sign language and be able to have that audience at a competition. I've been to many competitions in the last 10 years, and I've noticed there's a lack of that population.
Yeah.
And I really want them to be able to experience something that has impacted me so greatly. I want them to be able to access it too.
Is there a personal story behind why you're interested in sign language and hearing impairment?
I've always grown up working with disabled people. I have disabled family members, so I've always been around that audience, and I love working with them. Over the summer at Power Motion where I work, I do summer camps for special education students. And just the other night, we are now moving a student into one of my classes because of the way I can offer American Sign Language in my class. I have also a deaf friend, and when she told me she didn't get access to language till 7th grade because she couldn't get an interpreter in school,
wow,
that really broke my heart, and that made me want to change that. I think everyone should be able to access STEAM, school, friendships, communication. Those are all basic needs that we have as human. We want to make friends. We want to go to school. We want to make connections. Even if you use a different language or have a disability, you should be able to access those same things.
Yeah, that's great. Love your passion.
Thank you.
That's amazing. How do you stay organized? Because you've got a lot going on.
I am a huge planner person.
Okay.
I have a planner. It's a digital one now, but my mom and I share it, and we have color-coded all my brother's events, all my sister's events, all my events.
Hank, what color are you?
I think I'm green, right?
Okay.
Yeah, you're green. I'm purple.
Very nice. No, that's fantastic. All right, we're going to continue this conversation. We've got our Bloomberg Market Minute coming up in just a moment. I'm curious again about the Buzz, but the Buzz gloves. So I'll ask you a few questions about that in a few minutes. But first, what other in addition to the Impact Award, what else did you win?
We won the Dean's List Award, which is an individual award for a student who exemplifies the models of FIRST and the values of FIRST, and that is specifically a sophomore or junior. So our student Albert won that award this year. And then there's the Woody Flowers Award, which is the same thing, but for a mentor coach. So students write an essay and nominate a mentor, and our mentor Ken won it this year.
Oh, very nice. Do you want to give last names so we can give recognition to who they are, or not?
We can.
Okay.
So the mentor we nominated to compete at the state championship is Ken Kiespert, and he is the owner of TPC Technologies.
Yeah, we know Ken.
We love Ken.
Yeah.
He's great. So if you ever need, AV stuff for an event or anything, lighting,
he
call
does
Ken.
everything. He's a lifesaver in so many ways.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
And he's been one of our longest supporters
Okay.
In terms of sponsorship and one of our mentors. So we adore Ken. And then we can't do, I got permission from his mom. And then we have Albert Pham. I texted his mom.
Okay.
We have Albert Pham, who was the Dean's List winner for the St. Joseph District event.
Okay. And does that go on to a further competition?
It goes on to state, where he interviews with another judge panel, and then 14
to 15 other students
Yeah.
typically. It's not an exact science because some events don't always have a Dean's List nominee. However, most do, and if there's a Dean's List nominee, they compete at the districts and move up to states.
And then if they get states, they go on to Worlds.
Okay. And so the interview you're talking about, what happens at that?
So I was a Dean's List nominee last year.
That doesn't surprise me.
Oh, thank you. And so you kind of sit across the table from a judge. You're a little further back from the table, and there's 2 to 3 judges, and they just sit there, and they could say, tell me about your life and your involvement in robotics. and then you just have to talk to them for 10 minutes. Or for those 10 minutes, they could just rapid fire 9,000 questions at you.
Wow.
And you have to answer those to the best of your ability because they're going to have more.
That's fun. All right. It's kind of like what we do, I guess.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll continue this conversation. More rapid fire questions coming for Average Joes here in just a moment on the WSJM Morning Show. WSJM Morning Show continues at 7:35. 33 degrees in Benton Harbor right now, 33 in St. Joseph, 31 degrees in South Haven. I'm surrounded by a lot of people who are way smarter than I am right now, which is the way I like it. It's Thursday morning, March 13th. It's part of Robotics Roundup. It's brought to you by Lake Michigan College, Cook Nuclear Power Plant, and Berrien Springs Public Schools. Our guests in studio for Robotics Roundup today, the Average Joe's Robotics team. Several of the team members are represented here, plus robotics coordinator and coach Morgan Brunsting. And in fact, Morgan, you've got a number of different roles that you play during that. I mean, for the last event, you hooked me up because I was getting turned away. I had a media pass, and they said, "Oh no, sorry, you can't go in this area." Morgan's to the rescue. Thank you.
Of course.
And gave me a hand-signed all-access
You have my signature now.
pass. I do. And Samuel, my 14-year-old son, does as well. And I was trying to get him interested in robotics, and I think he has a big interest. He really does like it. But you're trying to get additional people to help through the mentor program as well. Make your pitch for a moment, and then we'll have to get into news.
All right,
here.
so we've got programs from Young 5 all the way to 12th grade. So if you have a passion for helping the next generation of STEM leaders or working with kids, we absolutely need you. You don't have to have knowledge. You don't have to have industry-level Java. You don't have to know how to be a developed mechanical engineer or have a PhD in writing. We just need someone who can sit with kids, who can help them. They've got the brains. We've got the guidance.
Yeah.
So if you have any interest in supporting any program at any age, reach out to me. It's I don't know how to where you can put my email, but it's mbrunsting BRUNSTING at sjschools.org. I will absolutely be glad to have you. We've had anywhere from 150 to 250 kids in the program during one school year. So the more help we have, the better. And we've got something for everyone. So just being there and being able to ask questions is exactly what we need. And we always, the more mentors we have, the more students we can impact. Yeah. So I'll always take more.
And again, the way, if people are interested, the way to contact you through your email, again, it is
mbrunsting, BRUNSTING at sjschools.org.
And we'll put it on the Facebook as well. So thank you for making that pitch. And if you are interested in volunteering, just drop an email to Morgan. Forecast for today, mostly sunny skies. We're going to continue this conversation in just a moment. We'll talk about the buzz gloves and whatever else you want. Oh, finances. We'll talk about how much it costs to run a robotics team. Over or under 70,000 this year? Above?
Well, we haven't gone to Worlds yet.
Okay, we'll put an asterisk by it. We'll talk about budget in just a moment. The forecast for today, mostly sunny skies. Highs around 65 degrees. I think we got people's attention by saying over $70,000 for a robot.
For the whole program, it's about $100K a year.
Wow.
Estimated, more or less.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does that include T-shirts?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Tonight's forecast, mostly clear, the low around 47, southeast winds. Friday, partly cloudy, breezy. Tomorrow we're going to have a beautiful day. It's going to be a high around 73 degrees. But then as we head into the overnight, 80% chance of storms. South winds 10 to 20 miles per hour, gusting higher, maybe 30 miles per hour, maybe higher than that. It depends on how the storm setup hits us or impacts us. We'll probably see most of the severe weather stay south of us, but be aware that overnight Friday there could be some severe weather. Saturday's forecast, mostly cloudy, a 60% chance of rain showers, windy, a low of 58, a high around 68. And then Sunday, partly sunny, a 30% chance of rain, snow showers, breezy, a high around 40, and a low around 34. We've got more news, the latest from ABC World News now. Taking a look at some of the news stories that we have coming up at 8 o'clock this morning from the WSJM newsroom. The U.S. Department of Education this week announced it's laying off about half of its 4,200 employees as the president wants to eliminate that department altogether. We talked with area Congressman Tim Walberg about that, so hear what he has to say coming up at 8 o'clock. The legal battle between St. Joseph Township and Lincoln Township over the use of Maiden Lane sewer lines remains at a standstill, but there could be some developments today. We'll get the latest from WSJM's Andrew Green on that at 8 o'clock. And then, as we told you yesterday, 2 Michigan Works locations in mid-Michigan are closing due to funding cuts. However, the Southwest Michigan Works says that they will not be affected. So we'll talk about those stories and more. That's coming up at 8 o'clock this morning right here on WSJM. It's 7:41. We're continuing our Robotics Roundup. I'm fortunate to have the Average Joe's robotics team here. So we'll continue that conversation right now on the video live stream. You want to tune in? All you have to do is go to Facebook, YouTube, and type in WSJM, and you can get the latest from there. You can, if you miss any part of this interview as well, you can go back and listen to the archive and watch the archive. We've got it there. All right, it's 7:42. WSJM Morning Show continues. All right, more whispering. I love it. That means you're going to talk about something. What are you going to talk about? What do we got here?
It's really expensive to run a robotics team. Like really, really expensive.
It sounds expensive. I mean, so what did you spend? Who knows what you spent last year on Morgan? How much did you spend last year?
Oh, gosh. And just Average Joe's?
Yeah. What, you have other teams?
What?
You have other teams?
21 FIRST Robotics teams.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's kind of all like lumps together.
Okay.
Just because we have our finances are constantly like overlapping. There's not one point in time, but I would guesstimate around 80 to 90,000 last year. We were able to save a little bit on flights.
Okay.
For Houston, and we purchased last year. We didn't purchase as much because we used old components, but this year we spent a lot more because we got some new fancy toys.
Oh, what'd you get?
And has all those numbers.
A third?
So, well, first of all, the bigger picture, right? To even get to these competitions, we're paying $6,000 for our district competitions, $4,000 for states, and another $4,000 just to get to Worlds if we wanted
to be registered.
To be registered.
That's just the registration fee.
Travel's a whole different beast.
Yeah.
Right. And you mentioned T-shirts, right? So for our whole program, it is still $4,000 for just our T-shirts.
Wow.
But that's a bigger picture. More than that, money can make or break. Sponsors can make or break our season. We could have the skill, but sometimes hardware can hold us back. Last year, we did not have great motors, and they were burning up, and we couldn't practice because of it, and they were hard to use in competition. They were melting some of our robot.
Wow.
And it really broke part of our season, if you can call it that. So this year, we spent a lot on Krakens, which is this new, probably the best motor available in high school robotics right now, which were $200 each, and we bought 40 of them.
Oh my gosh, 40.
And now we didn't all buy it just from our budget.
Yeah.
St. Joseph Public Schools Foundation saved us, and we applied for a grant so that they could, so that we could get more than we needed,
Yeah.
so that we're able to have, those 2 robots that they were talking about.
Yeah.
So shout out to them again.
Yeah.
But a robotics team isn't like a football team or athletics, right? The school doesn't support everything we do. Yeah. So we still have to reach out to sponsors, and we have to get support for this really expensive program. This year we bought 3 cameras. We also need to have backups for everything. That's why we have 40 of those Kraken motors.
Yeah, redundancy.
We're not using all of them on the robot, but we need to have backups. So ideally we have like a whole another set of robot parts to build the whole robot again if everything breaks. So we bought 3 new cameras this year, which were $400 each to stay ahead of the game in the FRC robotics world.
Yeah, I mean, because when you think about project management, you think about the triangle of the trade-offs, the quality, the time, the money. What does it take to deliver a robot that can do these things that you're going to do? And so what I think it sounds as if you discovered last year, well, we saved a little bit of money, but we didn't get the quality that we were hoping for in those motors that burned out. Mm-hmm. So how often do you go back and look at, are we doing it the way that it should be done, or if something fails, how do we overcome that?
So after every season, we kind of take a look at what did we do well and what didn't we do well, and what can we change going forward? So at the end of last year, we said, we shot for a complicated robot, and then we also tried to cheap out on our complicated robot. And so we decided going forward, we should try to spend a little bit more money and try to build just a little bit simpler of a robot.
Okay. And so that's going forward.
Yes.
Is this year's robot too complex?
This year's robot is not too complex. I think we built the perfect complexity for the team we have. We spent just the right amount of money on it, and we have a beautiful robot that's playing really well.
Yeah. I don't think we asked you, Hank and Athurv, what do you want to do for higher education? What are you going to go to? I assume you're going to go to college. Where are you going to go?
Yeah, so I would like to become an engineer someday. We're looking at a couple of different colleges, but hoping to get into one of those Ivy League schools potentially. Okay.
What kind of engineering?
Probably mechanical engineering or like aerospace engineering.
Okay. They're doing a little bit of that these days. SpaceX and International Space Station and stuff like that. Athurv, what about you?
Something I think is really cool about the program is that it's shown me that I can do a lot more than what I came into the program thinking.
Yeah.
Like I came into the program thinking just programming, right? But now that I'm in Impact and now that I'm on the drive team, it's opened me up to so much more. I'm looking at public speaking, leadership skills, business. So I really didn't have a plan, and joining robotics has given me even less of a plan. But
even less of a plan. Okay.
I've been looking at aerospace engineering. It seems very interesting so far, and it's the closest thing to home, robotics, really. But yeah, I'm really not sure. There's so much out there.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is it really has opened your eyes to the field of opportunity.
Oh yeah. Running robotics is like running a business. I heard one of our mentors say recently, and it really is. We're reaching out. Students are reaching out to sponsors. Students are running all of our business and marketing. While you're at it, follow our social media. That's great.
Hold on. I'll let you make a plug for that in just one moment. Hang on just a second. We'll get back on the radio here. In true business and marketing fashion, the team of Average Joes is making a pitch now, a pitch for you to follow them on social media. Go ahead. Where can people follow your updates on social media?
So we have Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook.
Okay.
All under the name First 3620 Average Joes. So you can find us on all those. We talk about our events there, what outreach events we've done. Sometimes we'll make little reels or TikToks about what we're doing. We can show off aspects of our robot, aspects of our outreach, aspects of our competition, so many different things. And it is a very great way to learn about our program.
And get in touch with us.
Yeah, because they're always looking for help, whether that's financial or for mentors, that kind of support. What's the most surprising thing that happened to you this season?
I think the most surprising thing has got to be we expected to be good, but I think we're a lot better than we expected. We kind of knew coming into this season we were going to take a little bit of a step back from last year, try to get on our feet a little bit before we tried to shoot for the moon again. And I think we expected to be a top team, but not one of like the top teams. And so I think that was really nice for us. And to be able to have a robot that wasn't breaking between every single match, that's just been a thing in our history where between every match, we're always trying to fix something. And this year, just between matches, we were able to, kick back and talk with other teams rather than trying to fix our own robot every single time.
Yeah, knock on wood, that continues. That's great. That's great. Other surprises?
I was just going to play off of what Hank said. Yeah. We graduated about 5 seniors last year, very involved seniors, very successful seniors who are doing great things for the program. So this year we were looking to take a step back since it's a very young team.
Yeah.
Libby is our only senior on the whole team.
Wow.
We have 2 juniors, and the rest of the about 30 are freshmen and sophomores.
Okay.
Hank and me,
Yeah. Are you sophomores?
We are sophomores.
Okay, so you've got a lot of historical that you're going to bring to the next 2 years.
Yeah. Hopefully. We've got about 12 sophomores and 10 freshmen. So we were really looking to take a step back, but we really didn't. And we have gone for so much ambition this year. We've gone for things that we thought we'd never do with especially in programming, we've been taking long strides, coding different systems for our robot, messing with things that we've never messed with before.
Yeah. You won the overall competition. Part of it was because you had great alliances, a great machine, and a great team. But you also won the Impact Award, and part of that's related to you're the Impact leader.
Yes.
Part of that is part of that including the Buzz Gloves.
Yes. So I think that was one of the biggest things that the judges saw. A lot of teams, they're out here, they may have a t-shirt cannon like us, or maybe they go to their elementary schools for some sort of science night. And we have all those things. We have 36 different initiatives,
wow.
And 34 of them are run by our team. So that's a pretty great turnout. But then not a lot of teams can say that they are making Buzz Gloves to improve their community members' lives.
Where did the Buzz Gloves come about? And for those who are just tuning in, the Buzz Gloves are for what?
They're for people who have Parkinson's, and they use vibration therapy to calm the tremors, a main Parkinson's symptom. The People with Parkinson's is a local organization, and they reached out to us via our social media and said, hey, we saw a YouTube video about a guy who made this thing. It's not FDA approved yet. They're working on it, but they wanted it, and we were like, okay, we'll make it for you. So we've been working for about 2 years, and we just finally finished our demo. I've been able to try it out. It's really cool. And we're going to try it on someone who has Parkinson's this weekend. I'm super excited for this opportunity.
Yeah.
And being able to show all these people that robotics can be more than just competing with a robot and showing people robots. It can be about medical things, about improving people's lives and trying to change our world for the better.
How much time and finances or resources have you invested in the Buzz Gloves?
A lot of time.
Yeah.
I mean, just from planning it, researching it, developing it. It was already made, but then because there's such a new thing, and I did most of the electrical work and everything, and I've never touched the robot before.
Wow.
I have always been a business person, so this was a lot of learning for me personally. And so there's a lot of time. Money-wise, we one of our mentors, Ken,
Mm-hmm.
he has been donating parts to us so graciously. Our goal is to provide them for the lowest cost possible for these people, because even once they're FDA approved, they're going to be insanely expensive. Yeah. We don't want to make a profit off it. We just want to make their lives better.
Yeah. How do you take that next step? Let's say all the testing goes well. It's a good experience. Then what?
Then they can be like, okay, I would like a set. I would like a set. Whoever would like a set. And then we will work on just making them. And hopefully this summer we will have quite a few students. I can show them how to make them. And then we will have a group of students who is just this summer making Buzz Glove after Buzz Glove after Buzz Glove. So each person can have 2 individual gloves so they can use both hands.
Yeah, yeah. So you'd never touched the robot, but you've been part of the robotics team for decade or more,
yeah.
Right? So there's something for everybody.
It really
Yes,
is more
absolutely.
than robots.
As part of FIRST Robotics. I love this. This is great. This is great. Did you have to solder anything?
A lot of heat shrinking, and it wasn't too much actually. But there was a little soldering, yes.
Soldering is my favorite. It's like magic. It's like alchemy. All right, 7:54. Let's make this part of the Moody on the Market update. It's brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today, your local auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles. And the Moody on the Market update, we talk about business updates, life in Southwest Michigan, and why we love it here. And we also talk about interesting people you should know. I think we have all 3 covered this morning with the Average Joe's FIRST Robotics team. So thank you for coming in. Who would you like to thank? Go through the list, whatever you want to say. Who would you like to thank for making this possible, for bringing you into this area where you are?
Well, I think first has to come with our sponsors. I mean, we have such great sponsors. Like we've said, the St. Joseph Public Schools Foundation, Convergix has been doing a lot for us. Bosch and TPC Technologies, among many others, have really made this season possible for us. We couldn't do it without our sponsors. I think another big part is we have really great mentors like Ken, like Morgan. Our drive coach, Stuart, is a really great guy. He's an alumni of the team. One of our coaches, Dan, he is just a really smart guy, and he helps with our strategy. We have another coach, Mark. He's also just really smart, helps with our strategy.
And beyond that, we have many more coaches like Doug, my brother and I's dad. We have so many amazing coaches. But then the families, they really make this possible. We have the parents that are driving their kids to robotics, picking them up at 10:30 at night,
oh my gosh,
supporting us at our competitions. And we do team meals. So on Saturdays, we'll do lunch. On weeknights, we do dinner. So that way we're making sure not only our students are fed, but our mentors are fed. And it's better than just pizza every night. You get home-cooked family meals most nights, and that is amazing.
That's great. Anybody else?
I would just like to highlight what the parents are bringing to our program.
Yeah.
Of course, our sponsors have helped us so much in where we're at, but parents are still filling the gaps where the sponsors can't reach. So for those dinners, every night of a meeting, they're able to help us out, and having a home cooked meal most of the time after a long robotics meeting and a long school day is great for the students and especially the mentors as well.
Yeah.
Because we come right after work.
Yeah.
All of our mentors are straight after work to robotics. So, giving them the opportunity to have a home cooked meal and then help the kids is incredible.
Yeah, I love this. I love this program. Thank you so much for sharing the information today. Thank you for bringing that information to visibility. Thanks for the Buzz Glove project. That sounds amazing. But we talk about the financial investment, but it seems minuscule, very small in comparison to the experience that you get out of it. You've got 30 individuals.
About 30.
About 30 folks on your team. And if you do the math, that is the experience that you're investing in there, it's worth a lifetime. And so it's very small amount. So
what they say is, this program brings lifelong skills no matter what career you go in. And you're really helping develop the next generation of STEM leaders.
And thank you for your role in doing that, Morgan.
My pleasure.
We
I love
appreciate
this.
Morgan Brunsting, Thurv Saxena, Elizabeth Fisbeck, and Hank Fisbeck. Thank you all. Congratulations to the Average Joes, and keep doing well.
Thank you.
All right.
you.
We'll be back in a moment on the WSJM Morning Show. Hang on, you're not done yet. Okay, let's say goodbye to the folks on the video live stream. Thank you very much for joining us. Anything else that we forgot? Anything else that we should talk about this morning?
I'll just remind the people of come to our.
You were right about a Thurv.
Yeah.
Try to get him to stop talking. No, you're good. You're good.
Come to our Joe Expo. What date you said?
May 31st.
May 31.
May 31st.
Okay.
Come to the Innovation Center. I think it's open to pretty much everyone, and
Yep.
you'll have a great time. Follow us on social media. You can keep in touch with us there. The judges love that. So if we want to win Impact in future seasons, right? They saw, you can help us out with Impact. They saw 1,400 about followers last year to over 1,700 this year, and judges loved that. So we hope to keep growing.
If you follow us, you're part of our Impact.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And you get updates on things like the Joe Expo, because we haven't solidified a start and end time. So once we get that, we'll be posting that as well.
Give us the Instagram again to follow.
FIRST, FIRST, 3620, Average Joes.
Okay. All right, Average Joes, thank you all for coming in today.
Thank
Have a
you.
great rest of your day, and we'll talk soon. Keep us up to date on the Buzz Gloves especially, would you?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. All right. Thank you. It's the WSJM Morning Show. That does it for the video live stream. Back with news in just a moment.